This was a year. This was definitely a year. I have been in business or in the business of business for probably over 29 years, whether I liked it or not. Some years were suspect. And then there are years that you have that are pivotal. And this was that year for me. I am bearing my soul, my entrepreneurial spiritual soul here, because I'm about to share with you behind the curtain to the glossy pictures and all the things that everybody thinks looks perfect. What really goes on when you're moving your life and business in alignment with your spiritual path? It is not always the easy path, and this year was one of those years. It was definitely one for the books. Welcome home, everybody. That is to the Conscious Home podcast, and I'm your host, Blanche Garcia. So I wanted to talk to you one-on-one about my own soul journey. I feel like our lives are shaped by our own stories, and this year was a very pivotal moment for me in my own evolution as being a soulpreneur, a business owner, but also on my spiritual path. And the funny thing is that I probably haven't had such a hard year as I did this past year, which was 2024. It resonated very much to 2020. And 2020, if you've listened to our podcast, you know that was soul and life changing for me. It's how I created Conscious Home. I never expected 2024 to be that. I think that when we're on our journey, we just think that once we have kind of our awakening in a way, or once we understand the meaning of what we're here to do, it kind of like the universe just grabs you by the hand and everything is just wonderful. You're just like kind of doors are opening. You're running into people. There's fairy dust everywhere. You're making money because you have finally hit the jackpot. You have realized what you're here for. And through a lot of this process, there is a dark night of the soul. There is a resurfacing, an uprooting of who you were. When you ask, and it's funny because I asked for this, and people sit there and they go, why is my life falling apart? Or why is XYZ? Because you asked for something better. You asked for something different. And when you ask for something that is a vibrational raising up, a higher vibration of where you're at, your life has to fall apart in certain areas in order to fill it with other things that actually meet that vibration. And this isn't the kind of love and light where, oh my God, we have to be vibing so high. This is I know what I'm here to be. I know, and you know, if you really think about it, like even now as you're watching this and you're listening to this because in a way you're remembering. This is resonating for you. This isn't by chance. This is here for you. So when you call in that remembrance of who you are and you follow that trail to live your highest life, what happens is that everything starts to change. And you want it to change in beautiful ways, in ways that you find acceptable, that make you comfortable. That would be wonderful. But in the uncomfortable, in the growth is honestly where the challenge is, where you rise up. You can't look at yourself and say, wow, I did that. I accomplished that. You can't have that ownership over who you are and that the understanding of how to stand in your own power if you've never truly been stripped bare and had to stand in that power with the only thing leading you through is your own light. And I'm going to say that again, the only thing leading you through is your own light, because this past year especially, and I'll go into it, yeah, there was the moments of clarity. There were the people that came into my life that, helped me here and there, that gave me the words sometimes when I didn't remember them in myself. There were those moments, but I'm not going to lie to you. A majority of it was me remembering who the fuck I am. It really was. And regardless of what was happening, the world falling apart, that I was able to keep going because I knew in my vision, in my soul, what I was meant to do. And it's not like I'm here to solve world peace, but we're here to create our own energy space. And when we do that, we resonate, we vibrate, and other people, they pick that up off of us. So we're actually creating not only our own world, but we're reshaping other people's worlds. It's really actually amazing. So I decided about, 2020 that I was going to start Conscious Home. Great. And there's always been a steady flow in my life of income, of clients. I'm one of those people that I think of things and manifestations have always been pretty easy. And it's not that it happens exactly the way I think it should be. It's not like I'm like, ooh, I want $500,000 to land in my lap. And the next day a client comes in with 500K. It's more that I have a vision of where I want things to go. And I may go in that direction because we're co-creating. You're not just sitting in your bed bedroom waiting for things to happen. You go in that direction. And then along the way, it starts happening. And it starts happening in ways that you never really fall flat on your face. So that's what gives you the belief that the universe has got your back, right? Because there's never been a question that it has your back. This year, I had to remember that it has my back even when I fall flat on my face. I had to remember that I had to pick myself up. So this year, even though I had created Conscious Home, I had moved into the larger office, I had hired the people that I knew would support me as being a mom, being neurodivergent, being someone who needs the support in order to have a life that nurtures me, but that also empowers me, right? Because I do believe that you need that support. You cannot do it alone. Even in business, we do start off, we wear a lot of hats, but you have to nurture. You have to make sure that you're eating somewhat the right things so that you stay healthy. You're going to your doctor visits, you're getting exercise, light, sleep. These are things that you need, right? And I think in business, there are things that you need in order to be the best that you can be. And what you're good at might not be what somebody else is good at. And you start dovetailing in those people to help support. And you all kind of play this beautiful music together because one person is great at this and the other person's great at that. And together you collectively come together to create your vision. And in my mind, I knew that because I was creating that I could not lose. I could not fail because I know who I am and I know what I was creating. This year challenged me because slowly, without me realizing it, we got slow. And I have two businesses. I'm an interior designer and I'm also, the creator of Conscious Home. So I'm working on the big dream while also keeping my design business that I've had for over 20 some odd years going and growing and in alignment with my new. And as a soulpreneur, someone who's following your passions, you have to keep all the plates in the air. You have to make sure that not only are you creating something new and you're being visionary and you're going in that direction, you have to make sure that what you're in now, what pays the bills, that you are happy with, that it supports you, and that along the way to your goals, that's not the end goal. That's not just the happiness when you get there. You have to be happy along the way. So you have to make sure all of that happens, as well as being, in my case, a mom, and like most of us, a woman, and all the things, and going through perimenopause. And that's like a whole nother thing. So all of these different dishes and plates are in the air. We started getting slow. In the midst of getting slow, it kind of trickled in. I wasn't aware of it. Before I knew it, we're depleting our resources. The money that I had put aside was dwindling down. I'm going into more debt. And by the way, was never in debt. Like, I'm the type of chick that my bills are paid ahead of time because it just gives me way too much anxiety. Everybody's paying on time. I'm like, as soon as the bill comes, here you go. I want to make sure that you're seen, that you're valued. So this was something new to me where I was actually going into debt and going into my reserves and going to places where I never thought that I would go there. And at the same time, I'm like, wait, I also can't support myself the way that I thought I could support myself. And when you're stretched like this, your energy is in fight or flight. You're just stressed to the max, on top of trying to stay conscious and on top of doing the right thing for yourself and others. In this, what I would say the storm of it, when your basic needs, your root chakra is activated and you're not sure about not only safety, but security, there's so much on the line. And it's different when like I was single and it wasn't like my family and I didn't have people that I supported. I can't just one day turn around and be like, by the way, you're not eating, you're not getting paid. When that happens, you start to question your values. You start to say, I'm just going to take whatever money that comes in, even if I don't like the client, even if I hate my job, I'm just going to make it work. I'm going to spend all my time worrying about this. That's what you want to go to. And I think that there were moments because I was human, but I also think I called into myself. I actually ground deeper. I sat in spaces that were uncomfortable. And I said, Blanche, throughout this is temporary. This is not what is always going to be. And you have to believe that when you're in these spaces, that this is not who you are. This is a moment. And there was confusion because I'm like, why is this happening to me? These are the normal questions. Why am I going through this? I know what I'm creating. I know with clarity what I'm creating. So why am I not being rewarded? Am I being punished? Like, what is happening? And I sat in those uncomfortable moments, and that's the shadow moment. That's the shadow of who you are. That's the lessons, what we're here to go through. And I realized that it's not that that this is happening to me, I need to have sovereignty over who I am, and I need to stick to what I know and to who I am. So what does that mean? How does that show up for me? That means that when I get stressed because I don't know where money's coming from, when you see a bill pop up that you don't know how you're going to pay, and by the way, that bill that would set me off and like my brain would go reeling sometimes would be like a $15 bill. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm going to say it like out loud. Like, what does that mean? And I knew that I stuck to what my soul was needing. I made sure that I slept, that I got a good night's sleep. I put those worries, I gave them to my soul team before I went to sleep every night. I knew that there was a reason and that I was being forged through the fire, that I wasn't being thrown into the fire by the universe, my guides, God, that I was being forged through the fire and that I would come out more resilient. And there were days that I wasn't too sure of that. And so the meditations became more important. The centering became more important. And I still made it, or I wanted to make sure that through the process of running my business, that I was still in alignment with who I was, but I still had to make changes. I had to make decisions. So sometimes we had to cut back on things. I had to go into debt, but I knew that going into debt, that money is energy. And I had to remember that with energy, I could create energy as much as it was going, not to look at it as, oh my God, there was like hundreds of thousands of dollars out the door. How am I going to even pay this? I should just like quit and get rid of everything and just go live in a cave. But the truth of the matter is that life ebbs and flows, and money really is energy. We're seeing it tangible, but it's only tangible because we as humans have designated what it's worth. But the truth of the matter is that it is energy. And so I started shifting what that felt like for me and releasing any attachments that were negative to money. And we all have them. I thought that I had gotten rid of them years ago because I was like, oh, it comes easily. But it's not until you are at the bottom of what you think is bottom. And I'm telling you, bottom, like no gas in the car, you're stopping at a quick check and your ATM denies you. Like we're talking, we've all been there, but I, no joke, have not been there since probably my early teens. So someone in their 40s, I was like, oh, and it's really easy to be like, you're just failing. You're completely failing. Through those thoughts, you have to dig deep. You have to dig deep. And you have to go, who am I? I am not this. I'm not this current energy right now. What is being forged? What is coming through? And so I was able to reposition my energy, focus for the most part, not all the time, refocus. And that's what we have to do. We have to refocus whenever our energy goes to like, oh my God, this is the worst. It's not going to get better. That's not true. That's just something your body is telling you in order to protect you. Those words aren't true. Money is energy. And remember that. And you can make it at any time. I'm not saying that it comes like the next day. And I'm not saying that it comes like in billions of dollars, but money is energy. It's fluid. And the universe wants you to co-create your life in alignment with it. That means that when you are pushed against the wall, when you think you are sinking, those are the moments that it wants you to go, how do I look at this differently? What are some other windows that are opening now that the door has been shut in my face? You are going to have to sit in that, but you cannot get to that place of clarity if you are worrying, if you are anxious. That was the hardest thing I had to remember. I had to remember that me being anxious, me being nervous, me being scared was not going to create a way out. And just the plan wasn't going to create a way out. It was my energy. It was me knowing that in the past, when I was in the flow, things came to me, that I could magnetize things to me by being in the flow, by not being in scarcity. When I'm in scarcity, when I'm in fight or flight, those things don't come to me. And those were the moments. Those were the hard moments because this year alone that we've just gone through energetically on the planet has been hard enough. But personally, I think a lot of us, and I'm not alone in this, have gone through this. They're going through this and still are going through this. So what shifted for me? I was consistent with what I just told you. I was consistent every day and I knew who I was and I knew what I was capable of. And I also knew that the vision that I had of what I was creating was not only bigger than me, it meant more than that. It was going to reach other people, thousands, whoever it was going to reach. It had the ability to transcend, to transform, to alchemize. And so when you're in those moments, I want you to remember who you are. I want you to remember what you're here to do It could be small, but I don't want you to lose that just because your circumstance is showing you something completely different. Because your circumstance does not dictate where you're going. It does not dictate who you are or where you're going. All it's doing is showing you a flashpoint. And that flashpoint can either turn into an explosion or it could be the fire that forges you. So I tell you this story because this is my behind the curtain. This is my soft spot. And I don't believe that those soft spots, those soft spots of pain and what you went through the fire are meant to be kept held in. They're meant to be shared so that you can understand that you're not alone. And whenever I was going through this year and I thought, how am I going to provide for my kid? I thought I was meant to do this. How am I not getting there? How is this so hard? And there were days where I was like, is this all there is? Is this it? And why every move I make is just door slam. It's not hitting. It's because those clients aren't for you anymore. It's because that path isn't for you anymore. The confinement of those walls, you've outgrown them. You don't need them anymore. And it looks like it's falling away, but in order for you to magnetize the life that you want, in order for you to really vibrate at that highest frequency that you are capable of as a human within your lifetime, okay, you have to shed. You have to shed until you cannot shed no more. And every level that you go up, you're going to shed again. It doesn't stop, because if you want more, you have to be more. The clients that weren't resonating with me, they never called me back when I put out bids. The projects that I went after that I said, oh my God, this is going to be the collaboration, they never manifested because that wasn't the vessel for me. I needed to go through that to shed my attachments to not only money, worth, who I was, and how strong I was. I had to understand that I could go through anything and I could create the life that I want. I created what I was looking at every day. The only way you learn that is going through it. I had the strength to find my way through that. You don't know what you can do until you're pushed, until you have to crawl your way out. So I thought I was losing everything. I thought I was going to lose everything, but I didn't. I didn't, because I, in collaboration, in co-creation with my belief system, with the universe, with whatever you want to call it, we did it together. And so now I sit in this place of stronger than I was a year ago, of like unshakableness, a place that only comes when you've been on the other side and gone through it. And when something doesn't resonate, when the space doesn't resonate anymore, it's like the fish outgrows the pond, because it's meant for the ocean, but it can't go to the ocean unless it goes through the stream and the waterfall and it falls through a gully and then thinks like the fisherman's going to get it. And it goes through all these different things. And then it gets to the ocean and it's like, wow. And it finds other fish and they're like, wow, I didn't know you guys were out here. I was just alone in this pond with like, I don't know, a guppy and a starfish. And they were like, no, there's all of us out here. We've been waiting for you. And that's really what it's like. So on this side of it, this is my, I would say, letter to all of you, because I wanted those who this resonates for to understand that if you're going through it, you're just shedding. Let it go. Let those collaborations, those clients, the work, the job, the boyfriend, the relationships, the friendships, the family members who don't understand you, let it go. Thank it for serving what it was meant to serve in your life, and understand that in the transition, in the unknown, that's when you have to dig deep. That's when you have to remember who you are. Remember in your heart. Remember in your third eye. That's where I'm pointing right now. It's not your head, because your head is going to tell you that everything's going to go wrong and it's never going to get better, and it's going to try to keep you safe. So you want to remember in your third eye, because that's where the vision is. That's where the frequency is. That's where you're receiving all of your light. And your soul remembers that. So that's where we're going to go to. We're going to go to a place of remembrance and strength. I'd like to leave you with an invitation, and only if it resonates with you. You can journal this, you can sit in meditation with it, but I want you to think about what has been falling apart, or what has felt like the door just won't open. It's just stagnant energy. It's a block. And then I want you to replace it with what feels easy, what feels like it lights up when you think about it. And you may not know how to get to that thing. You may not know the path forward. You may not know even the steps. You're like, I don't even know, that seems so far out of reach. But I want you to just start thinking about what lights you up. And then if you want to take it a step further, I want you to write it down. I want you to put a visual to it. If it's a house in Hawaii, I want you to find a picture of a house. I want you to light a white candle every morning. And I want you to imagine yourself walking through the door of that house every morning for like maybe 2-3 minutes. And I want you to say to yourself, I am in alignment with the path that opens up before me. I release any attachments and any parts of my life that no longer fit who I am. Try that for 3 days. 3 is a magical number, and I invite you to call your future you into your present. And as we close out and we say goodbye for today, I just want to leave you with this. You are not lost. You are being reignited. You are not lost. You are being reignited. Until next time, remember that your home remembers you.